Sean Alcide. I'm with my co-host JD, and today we have Krish Sidhu,
Salute.
and we're gonna get to know a little bit about Chris. All right. So Chris, tell me about yourself. I from just doing basic research on you, you're involved in a lot of different things. You are a big in the philanthropy, and as far as like doing and giving back. So many businesses that you have either started or worked with. Give us a little bit of background information about yourself before we jump into like the real juicy part of why everyone is here today.
Absolutely. So pleasure to be here with you both. My background is fairly diverse from a business standpoint. Over 20 years in land development and construction, single family high end homes. Did that for about, like I said, about 20 years. And then moved into some medical technology stuff. Came on with a few different companies, raising some capital. I've been in the cannabis space for about 12 years, mostly in Canada. And in the regulated market, a bit of a pioneer in that space. I was one of basically the first one to get a business license in a major municipality in Canada back in 2016. So made some news, and we have since transitioned to recreational market. And then my latest ventures, or one of them, is the Evolved Co., which is this one here. It's a health and wellness lifestyle brand, and launching very cool products to the markets and consumables to the markets, all backed with the frequency technology that my partner developed. And so I have that and another couple of things on the side, but those are the major ones.
So you said you're from Canada, right? Which part? Vancouver specifically?
Yes, Vancouver born and raised, yes.
All right. So big question. Were you a Grizzlies fan growing up? And are you still a Grizzlies fan out there in Memphis?
So that here's the funny story. So here's how far I go back. There's a lot of just for men covering up all the gray hair here. So I so back when the Grizzlies were with us in Vancouver, I used to teach hip hop back in the day. So I've got a big arts and martial arts and dance side to me as well, and music side. So a lot of the girls who were the dance team were my students, and then we would get some of the guys to go in on some of the big games, like the Bulls and Lakers and all the big guys who would come in, New York Knicks and stuff. And so we would go out and jam with them in the Grizzlies games, and we get to sit at the court side, watch the games, go out, jam it out a little bit, and then come back in. So yes, Vancouver Grizzlies are near and dear to my heart back in the day, and we had a lot of good times with it.
So are you a Raptors fan now since the Grizzlies left Vancouver?
Of course, I have to be. I'm Canadian, so that's the only choice I have. Is I got to be a Raptors fan, and we brought it home a few years ago. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, not long ago.
absolutely.
All right, Chris, tell me where does your drive for or your passion for creating at that level come from? Where you're starting businesses and you're doing, where does that come from?
That's a great question. I've always been like that, a bit of a go-getter, an overachiever. When I'm doing things like when I'm busy and active is where I'm actually at my most calm. Um, from my martial arts background, I've taught and trained for over 40 years. So I've created a discipline that I have a high level of Zen through all the chaos that I do. So it doesn't matter, like we can pile on a whole bunch of stuff, and I seem to be able to handle the stress fairly well, which I'm very blessed to be able to do. And I think, just I love exciting projects. I love working with people. I love giving back. And so, like my three parameters for working on projects is that we got to make lots of money, we got to help lots of people, and we got to have lots of fun. So if we can combine all of those three things, I always love getting involved.
Oh wow! And how do you know it's time to kind of jump into the next thing? Because you seem like you're successful in one area. So when do you know it's time to shift your focus onto the next thing? And how do you balance all of that all together?
So there's a technical part of it when you analyze the business and the markets and what's happening within the industries that you're in. And there's also an energetic part of it as well, where you're looking inward to yourself to be like, okay, is this what I want to keep doing? Or do I need to switch to something else that's going to keep that good energy and that flow going. So I think you have to look both outward and inward when you're making those decisions.
That fire, that drive still
Okay.
got to be there, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking here. I'm just reading through some of the companies that you have a big hand in. The Evolved Co.,
Yes.
Perform H2O, which we're here to learn about. Trinity Tree Cannabis Company, the QP app. Some of these are really really intriguing, different developments and companies that you have a hand in. Lighthammer Consulting Ltd., Kissalite. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that
Yes.
correctly. um, Last Shot, and Holy Rod Foundation. Tell me about specifically, right? We're here to talk about the Perform H2O.
Yes.
Where do, in the midst of all of these amazing different companies and different brands that you are involved in, why is it time now for Perform H2O to be the head of the charge?
I appreciate the question. So I try not to get too excited about it, but it's extremely exciting. So my partner developed this frequency technology. It took him about 10 years and $12.5 million to develop the tech.
Ooh, wow.
And the applications for it are phenomenal. So when I met with him about 4 years ago, we hit it off and we met through a mutual friend, and he told me about the technology and what it can do and the capabilities. I was like, oh man, this is going to be crazy. And I'm just like, with my drive and with all my relationships and with the vision that I had of what we can create with it, I said, listen, let's partner and run with this thing. And so luckily he had a lot of trust and faith in me, and we partnered up, and now is the time to really push with the Evolve Lifestyle Co. And then also the products that were coming out underneath that lifestyle brand, and everything back with the technology. So what really drives the coolness and the tech side of it is the frequency tech, and what differentiates us in the marketplace and allows us to create new product categories, that will be the category king of is the technology itself. So that's the main reason I'm pushing so hard on this, because we have all the clinical trials and hydration studies, which I can give you some feedback on, and it's like game changer stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
So when you say technology, are you talking
So,
about the below 33?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. So someone who's not like well versed in science, because I'm actually a sports science major, like in layman's term,
Okay.
what is it? Like what is the below 33? Without
Okay.
getting too specific or too
Great.
scientifical.
Sure. Listen, I always like the dumb guy version because that's always what works for me. I need the really simple, like give it to me straight version. So basically, how it works is this. Here's a bottle of my water here, so you can kind of see underneath there. There's a sticker underneath here. You see that little round piece right there, and that's got our frequency technology on it. So basically, that sticker has like 1,050 nano layers in it, and the frequency text embedded inside of that, and then it's programmed to whatever we want to program it to. So for the water, it's programmed to output to a number of different frequencies that energizes the water and makes the water perform at its most optimum solubility. So what that means is that the water molecules and the minerals and electrolytes and nutrients in the water now become perform at their most optimum solubility and become more bioavailable. So when you drink our water, you actually absorb more of the water. We change the thermodynamics of the water, change the energetic state of the water in order for you to digest it and absorb it.
Wow. So, in follow up to that, I'm glad you asked that question, Gene. But again, in follow up to that, because it leads me, I'm looking here through, the different marketing campaigns that you've had,
Yeah.
and initially when I was made aware of this brand, I'm thinking, okay, water, it's gonna hydrate. This is for athletes, right? I'm thinking athletes need this kind of thing. It's gonna help them to perform better and be at their best. But again, a lot of the marketing campaigns I see just regular folk with
Yeah.
drinking the water. So your target is not specifically athletes, but just healthy people or people just needing to stay hydrated because
Yeah.
we're at our peak when we're hydrated. What is your thought process of targeting not just athletes, but anybody who just wants to be hydrated and live well.
You really hit the nail on the head. Everybody needs water. Obviously, we're made up of water. Almost 75-80% of our body is water. Chronic dehydration is actually an epidemic. Most people are chronically dehydrated. And what that does is creates low-level stress in your body, because your organs and systems and functions and nervous system, all that stuff, can't function at their proper levels or their premium state in order for your body to do all its activities, all its brain functions, all those things. So when you're causing that low-level stress, those can trigger other diseases, especially a lot of neurological diseases, Alzheimer's, MLS, Parkinson's, etc., heart disease, lung disease, liver failure, all these things. When you're stressed out, that's when all those things get triggered. So hydration is such a key fundamental to have in your daily life, and also for your average person, for their general health and well-being. It's absolutely essential. People say, oh, make sure you drink 6 to 8 glasses a day and all that stuff. First of all, not many people do that. And then you see some people who carry around their water all day. But the problem with that is that water is not necessarily at its best energetic state in order for you to absorb it. So you're drinking a lot of it, but you're getting rid of most of it, and you're not actually absorbing it. So you will get hydrated. Obviously, if you drink a glass of water, you'll absorb some of it, etc. But with ours, why we're such a game changer is that we've changed the way the water performs itself, so that when you drink it, you absorb more of the water and you actually perform better. So that's for kind of the general public on how things work. For the athlete, it's pretty exciting. It's like game-changing stuff. So we did our clinical trial and a hydration study done by one of Canada's top hydration experts, peer-reviewed by 2 of North America's top experts, highest degree of clinical trial protocols. And the short version is almost 90% of the athletes, not only did they not dehydrate, but they rehydrated much quicker. So they were more hydrated at the end of the 90-minute workout than when they started, which is unheard of. And so what that means is their blood plasma volumes are up. That means their muscles are getting oxygenated, they're getting all the electrolytes, etc., to their system. That means their performance stays at peak performance the whole time. And my background, just for reference, my dad's a sports med doctor, so I've grown up kind of with all this stuff on injury prevention and recovery. So what it does is if your performance level stays high, you're not depleting your body. When you deplete your body, you're prone to injuries, and then also your recovery time is more significant. Now what we're doing is we're keeping you at peak performance. Your recovery time is now much less, and you're not prone to injuries.
Wow.
There's a lot of science that went behind it, man. See, and that's what I know, because just like Sean, because especially living in the States, if we go to the supermarket, bro, we see hundreds of different, from vitamin water to cellular. So even like Sean, so when I first saw your product, I'm like, how are you guys going to differentiate from everything that's out on the market? And how you broke it down answered that like perfectly, because it makes sense. And going back to the point that you made, even being someone who's well versed in sports medicine, a lot of people are dehydrated and they just think drinking water is just going to help replenish them. But by the time you're drinking water, you're already vastly dehydrated. So the way that you broke it down is kind of like you're getting the hydration and then much more, So that's phenomenal,
Correct.
man. Yeah.
Thank you. So the water is our first product to market. We're going to have water, then flavored water. But the cool thing about the technology is that we can apply it to several different things. So, for example, the apparel line that we're going to come out with and do some collabs with, we can enhance performance, we can enhance recovery, we can enhance calmness, we can enhance acuity. Like for women too, we have anecdotal evidence where we can put the pain patch in the front of like their tights and help with their menstrual pain. A lot of really cool advantages to the technology. And we've got some real world examples of athletes that have used it, that have put the performance enhancing technology on, and they're like, yo, like you're normally I know how far I can push. Is like that
Hmm.
limit's not there anymore. I keep feeling like I can push harder and faster and longer. So it's pretty exciting.
Is this may be a silly question, but it's one that I have to ask anyways. Is the kind of like is the octopus logo just a representation of what absorbs more water than an octopus in the ocean? Like what's the meaning behind octopus?
So
Just
it's
curious.
that's a good question. That can be tied into it, but when we were developing the brand and I came up with the logo idea and the ethos around the company's called the Evolved Co, the Evolved Lifestyle Co.
Hmm.
The octopus is literally the most evolved creature on the planet with 9 brains and 3 hearts, and the
Yeah.
intellect and how it does cool stuff is amazing. It represents what our company represents with the strength and adaptability and ingenuity. And as far as logos go, people are very easy to affiliate with logos with animals. Like they want to wear like their favorite
Yeah.
team, the Bears, the Cubs, the
Yeah.
Lions, the Tigers. So wearing a brand as far as a logo goes is good. And then we kind of did some subliminal stuff where you think you've seen this before because of Marvel's Hydra and uh, and James Bond
Yo,
Spectre. So people,
yo,
We just talked about that yesterday.
there you go.
I told him, I'm like,
So
yo, I
there's a
don't know.
little brain
I
science behind it too,
swear,
and we like kind of capturing things. So yeah,
when I seen it, I was like, look,
Go
I
ahead, Gene.
swear I saw this logo before in the stores, and I wasn't
yes,
sure. And now you just said it. That's pretty
yeah,
funny, man.
that's funny. That's great. So it's working.
Yeah.
Good, good. We did some good stuff.
So I clicked on like like I'm going to buy the product, and you're selling from Amazon. Do you
Correct.
guys sell by the pack, or are people able to buy by the bottle, or is it a pack kind of thing as of right now?
Yes. So right now we're available on Amazon in a 12 pack. That's how it's delivered.
Okay.
We're working on some retail deals right now with brick and mortar stores, and those will be available in the single bottles that you can just grab off the shelf. I'm sure some places will have the packs of water that you can buy, but mostly they'll be the single pack or the single bottles.
So with your marketing strategy, do you feel like it's a different game marketing it to Canada in comparison to the States, or is it just kind of one fit all marketing strategy?
So that's a great question. So we have technically we're an American company. So I've set up home
Hmm.
base and corporate structure in the U.S. and we're launching the brand in the U.S. And we
Okay.
did that because Canada's home for me and I love Canada, but market size, all of Canada is the
Yeah.
population of California. So
Right.
Cali.
as
Yeah.
far as a market goes, and
Hmm.
yeah, us to be able to roll out, this is the largest place to do that. And then as far as global adaptability goes, when brands are blowing up in the US, it's much easier to launch into other international markets when they see the traction we have here. And as far as water sales and consumption, the U.S. is one of the top in the world. So it's a great place for
Oh
us to
yeah.
launch.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I also noticed
so
that.
I'm
Oh no, go
I'm
ahead,
very
Charles.
intrigued. Nah, go ahead. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Oh yeah, something that I seen on your site. You had the Hydrate to Elevate Summit, and that's coming up. What I think the end of next week on the 31st. So what is that whole summit about? I know it's a
Correct.
virtual summit. Is it just you just breaking down what the brand is or the vision of the brand for 5, 10, 15 years?
So it's a combination of those things. So we're going to get into kind of the ethos of the company and the brand and what it
Hmm.
means for people to be hydrated. And then we have some amazing guests that are experts and leaders in their field, from fitness, from health, from wellness to relationships, to business. And we've combined all that into our Hydrate Summit, Elevate to Hydrate Summit, or Hydrate to Elevate Summit, pardon me, and in order to see how hydration affects them and how it is applicable to all walks of life. So you got me doing my thing, and then we brought on a lot of other really great creators and minds to give some quality content to the market.
Nice.
So again, this is like looking at this with like just going through some of the stuff that you posted. specifically on the marketing. And I'm really big on like marketing because again, how you present things and how you are, it's like you're telling a story and you're telling people without having to verbally say, hey, this is who it's for. If you had to say, in Mount Rushmore terms, right, if there's four people that you can ideally get to tell people why Perform H2O is what they need to be drinking, anywhere from athletes to entertainers, who would be those four people that you could ideally partner with to push the Perform H2O message?
That's a great question. God, to knock it down to four. So, I'm a little old school. So when I look at kind of icons of the business world and the athlete and celebrity world, we're have relationships with and are very close with Magic Johnson. He's always been an inspiration to me. What he's done both on the business side and philanthropic side, and how he's moved. I mean, strategically he'd be a great partner. LL Cool J is another one who's like old school and still looks like he did, even better than he did, 20 years ago. He's still health and wellness and doing the thing in great energy. So that's another guy. Some titans maybe in the in the business world, maybe one of the Sharks, maybe Mark or Damon. Kevin would be great as well to give some guidance on getting us in a few places. But I'm very blessed to have a lot of those relationships already, and my team, and like Crystal and the Loop team that set us up. They have a lot of those relationships already. So the flip side of that is most brands need a celebrity in order to sell what they're selling, because they're the same thing as everybody else, kind of. We're very fortunate that technically we don't need anyone because of our technology and our differentiator. We're already special, and then bringing the right people and the right leverage and the right marketing strategy will just help put fuel on the fire.
I'm not gonna front,
That's
man.
very.
Wait, hold on, short. I'm not gonna front. I thought you were gonna say Drizzy, man. I'm disappointed you didn't mention Drake, man.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to
Listen,
say it.
I
No
love
Drake.
Drizzy. I
Come
love Drake.
on,
He's
man.
he's the man for sure. I love Justin Bieber too from back in the day. I love my Canadian brothers, but I don't know. Like strategically, yeah, sure. I mean, bringing Drake on board would be amazing as well. Drake, call your boy.
Call your boy,
So
Drizzy.
we work. Our company works with a lot of different like athletes ourselves. Like we are mainly sports coverage, but we like to branch out into different things. We tap into the fashion, we tap into the business and different things of that nature. A lot of the questions that we asked tonight is really for us to know, like, how are we presenting this thing without like misconstruing the actual science, for the lack of a better term, the actual purpose of this water. So when I work with the WNBA and I work with UConn, men's and women's basketball. So if I am telling them about this drink, and they're gonna be like, well, what does it do? Like what? Now I have it in my back pocket how to quickly answer that in ways that the dummies can understand, like you said, and not necessarily 33 below and all this other stuff. But so that's really informative to know. And working with high school kids as well, like on a basketball circuit. We worked with a previous company, or at least we almost did work with a previous company where we were getting a lot of these things and we weren't necessarily equipped with the information and the knowledge to be able to give them that. So I appreciate you breaking it down so that we can understand and to help them understand.
Absolutely.
Okay, Gene, you got anything in?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question based off what you said earlier. You said in 2016 you got into the cannabis space and tons of legislation. Further down the line, could we possibly see any type of merger between, any energy drinks or water that you might create in the future and with the cannabis? Because nowadays cannabis is in
High
everything.
water?
It's in cream. I don't. That's a great name actually. Do you have any plans on kind of merging the two industry titans together?
Yeah, it's funny you said that. So the original idea was to come out with the CBD water. And being in the cannabis space, I'm like, I want to do, I could do a CBD water, but everybody and their dog had a CBD water out. So I'm like, okay, well, what's
Yeah.
going to make mine special? And then when my partner showed me the technology, I was like, oh my god, like we can make whatever, because we're limited to how much CBD we can put in each bottle, right? So I'm
Mm.
like, if I can put the sticker on and make my CBD more bioavailable, I beat everybody else because they won't absorb as much. And we could do the THC and all that stuff as well. So that was actually the original kind of idea of, okay, let me do this. And then I talked to my partner down here, Antoinette at Loop Studios, and I'm like, yo, I think we can do a lot bigger than this and do something like a big lifestyle brand and launch with bigger products to market, not niche products. She's like, yeah, dummy, of course you should do that. Like, let's do it big. So I'm like, all right. So we literally evolved from doing that one CBD product into kind of putting that on the back shelf and coming out with more mainstream products now. So you're right on point though, because of the bioavailability and how our delivery system is with the technology. For sure, that's down in the pipeline.
I can't wait for that, man.
Um,
I'm not. I'm not even a smoker like that, but that sounds phenomenal.
Listen, the high school educator in me is terrified of that because the kids who will try to come to school high every day
Right.
will just be able to have it in their water bottle. Or so, so it is what it is. You mentioned the flavored water was coming out soon, and I'm looking at your website and I see it says you have a couple colors and it says coming soon. How soon could folk expect the
I'm
flavored?
hoping Q2 or Q3 of this year. I've already
Okay.
talked. We've already got the flavors mapped out and got the manufacturing ready to go and all the designs, everything. So we'll most likely start with the ones that we have here of mango, cucumber, lime, and strawberry kiwi. Seems to be the top three that market wise and flavor profile wise that everybody's liked so far. So and on the shelf it looks super cool with the different octopus changing color. And we did the
Yeah.
branding like that. So the bottle in the octopus changes color like the flavor does, which like in nature how the octopus changes its color to camouflage and stuff. So
Mm.
Yeah.
some cool stuff on the branding side that we can do with it.
Yeah, this is dope. Again, the logo is gravitates. It looks very familiar. It
Yeah.
gravitates, and the product sounds super dope. Are you watching NFL football at the moment?
I am. I've been super busy with travel and business, unfortunately, but yeah, I've been trying to keep up to speed with it, and we'll be at Super Bowl as well. So
Oh, who would
Ooh.
you like to see at the Super Bowl?
that's a good one. Jeez. But I saw something that some announcement came out that the Super Bowl was going to be like the Ravens and somebody else.
Niners,
You saw
Niners,
that?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And the
yeah.
color schemes were there, and everybody announced it before anybody. I don't know, so I don't know what's
Hmm.
going to happen. So, but long story short is I'm excited for them. I'm always looking from a business perspective. Us being there, leverage some of those events and branding stuff. We're doing some good collaborations and some sponsorships with. My friend Jen Welter, she runs the Gridiron Girls, so we're actually sponsoring one of her big
Mm.
events for like 300 girls to come and women to come out and learn about football, and their passion is football. So we're going to be there. And through one of our other contacts, we're actually going to be sponsoring the Sports Illustrated golf tournament and events. So we'll be the official water there with Sports Illustrated. So some exciting stuff coming up around Super Bowl as well.
And that's kind of like the beauty of professional sports league. They are always open to trying new things as well. They're always open to trying the latest products because they want their
Mhm.
athletes to perform the best. What you guys doing is
Yeah.
scientifically proven, so they're gonna be like
Yes.
up in arms to try your product. So that's a good leeway into it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're very excited, and the anecdotal stuff we've got, and the stories and the feedback from people who use it in the gym and in their field of expertise in sports and in Ironman things and stuff like the recovery time. People are cutting their times down of their race time. They're able to bench more.
Wow.
They're able to squat more. They're able to push through their workouts harder. Like it's really incredible, and I kind of get goosebumps when I hear the stories of the real life people drinking the water and just in general like people this like the side effect of drinking our water is you feel better, because you're actually more hydrated, your body's functioning better, so in general you start feeling better. So a lot of cool real life stuff that we've experienced so far.
Nailed it on the head. Super Bowl should be dope.
Yeah.
I would love to see Lamar Jackson win one. Odell, who is my guy, is also on the Ravens. I would love to see him win the second one.
Absolutely.
But I think, I think we're in for a really great weekend of football this weekend with Mahomes and Lamar, and then the Niners and the Chiefs. I mean, the Niners and the Lions, and then eventually the Super Bowls is going to be super great. Gene, anything else you got before we send Chris off?
Yeah, man, I gotta get some of your products to some of my clients, man, because they've been slacking. They're still off that New Year's and Christmas high. But I just wanted to tell everyone to just state it again where they can find the H2O water at.
Thank you. So right now we're available across the US on Amazon. So if you go in there and search PerformH2O, all one word, will pop right up, and it's the box of 12. And you can order it, grab it in a couple days. You'll have it at your house, and you'll be able to rock and roll. And then, of course, for you guys, I'd love to. We'll go offline, and we'll get your info, and I can send you some of the stuff for your clients and athletes and all of your contacts. And I'm happy to do that as well.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm very, very happy you brought the client angle into it, G. Not to stay here too long, because we covered high school sports, right? So we were filming and reporting on a high school football team, I think about a year ago. And I kid you not, the amount of kids that were like cramping on the field, and they're like, these are like starting quarterbacks, starting wide receivers. The amount of kids that I saw the game had to be stopped because they had to be carried off the field, not because the ACL was torn, but because of cramping. Yeah. All while there's a big jug of Gatorade on the side. I'm like, what is the Gatorade not doing that these athletes need? And again, football's not played in overly hot weather. It's fall, so it's like it's not all that hot for them to be cramping every drive. So I'm gonna tell them, listen, y'all need to get that PerformH2O because y'all cannot be missing an entire series because a 16, 17-year-old can't stay on the field because they have cramps. It's crazy.
I agree. And listen, I don't want to speak badly of any other brands or products, but I do know that I can say we are literally the best stuff on the market right now. And we've got the science backing us. Anything else that anybody says on any other beverage or drink is basically marketing and not very much science behind what they're doing. So I can stand behind what we're doing. We've got the clinical trials backing us, and we've got the real life examples to show. So I'm excited to see we keep everybody fresh and in the game instead of being carried off the field. So.
1,000%. Chris, I appreciate you for taking the time. Please keep us updated with anything you got going on. If you got any events around this side, New York City or anywhere else, we could get a hedge notice. We'll come out, get some content, and different things of that nature. And we look forward to seeing, this become a thing. This sounds like a great product. I'm definitely, gonna get some water because I'm out all the time. I want to move all the time, and I need. I'm one of the people Gene's talking about. I don't always have my water bottle with me to stay hydrated. So I need something in the cut that can keep me up strong. So absolutely, let us know whatever you guys got going on, and we'd love to support it and continue to keep this going.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure and talking to you both. Thanks for taking the time, and look forward to doing more with you both.